Take a breath. Welcome to Space to Exhale, the podcast, weekly inspiration for self-love and soft living. I am your host, Lisa Hurley. I'm a 3-time Anthem Award winner, Reiki master, and community builder. And I'm the author of the book Space to Exhale. Through healing modalities like breathwork, affirmations, and meditations, I'll guide you on a life-changing journey to help you know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and create much-needed space to exhale. Hello, folks, and welcome to Space to Exhale, the podcast, a safe, serene sanctuary where we focus on high vibrations, affirmations, soft living, and self-care. I am your host, Lisa Hurley. I'm a 3-time Anthem Award-winning activist, a Reiki master, and the author of Space to Exhale, a handbook for curating a soft, centered, serene life. I'm here to help us all do just that. Relax, take a breath, say no to hustle culture, and yes to a life of ease. My hope and dream is for us all to curate lives that we don't feel we need a break from. And today, I'm super excited to introduce to you my guest, Alechia Reese.
Hey.
Hey, welcome, Alechia. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fabulous.
We love
Very,
a
very good.
fabulous.
Fabulous. That is how I am doing. Before we get into it, let me read your bio so people know that, right? We have to let them know who it is, who's in the room. Okay. So, folks, Alechia Reese is equal parts warm tea and Hennessy, co-host of the top 2.5% globally ranked podcast, Triggered AF, and Got Value Nation. She's a transformation coach, best-selling author, international speaker, and host. From the entertainment stage to the corporate boardroom, Alechia has produced events from 30 to 30,000 attendees with sponsors like UPS, Amex, IBM, and more. She's graced stages with audiences from 50 to 50,000 for brands like Verizon, Progressive, Essence, and Bank of America. And like me, Alechia believes that true success is when life feels as good as it looks. With a lifelong mission to equip leaders with the tools to design a life they truly love, she redefines success by aligning it with purpose, not just achievement. Yes, I am here for all of it. I am here for all of that. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I am super excited for this conversation. One, I feel that we must start having more openly, like we have to take these types of conversations out of the group chat. Some conversations, yes, keep them in the group chat. But these particular types of conversations must come out of the group chat, and it has to become the norm more so than the exception.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. So before we dive into what I know is going to be a juicy, deep, insightful, healing, and revolutionary conversation, I know it's going to be because you always bring it. You've listened to the podcast, and how we always start is with a few deep breaths. This is space to exhale. That is exactly what we are going to do. So, everyone, close your eyes, settle your mind. Relax your forehead, relax your eyebrows. We hold a lot of tension in our eyebrows. Make your shoulders not be earrings anymore. Bring them down, relax them. And now inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Okay, yes. So open your eyes, right? Settle yourself. If you have your little tea or your lunch, whatever it is, gather that next to you and get ready for this conversation. Because, as I said at the beginning, Alechia is the host of Triggered AF, which is one of my favorite podcasts, right? And so, before we even dive into the questions, tell me a little bit more about how you even came to name your podcast Triggered AF. Like what was the genesis of that? Let's start there. Let's begin at the beginning.
Well, I'm a firm believer in having the uncomfortable conversations. I like to sit in the uncomfortable place. I'm not argumentative, but I have absolutely no problem with saying the quiet thing out loud because
Mm,
I feel that that's where real freedom comes. I was more bogged down by the things I did not say, the things I would not express, the things that I kept hidden, way more bogged down than the things I would just express and say. So with Triggered, when my co-host Danny and I, we were talking
hey,
about
Danny.
hi Danny. When we were talking about names, we were like, people are so triggered because they refuse to say the quiet part out loud. There's so much, especially, I don't want to date myself. I know I look young, but got a little age on me. But when I was growing up, you weren't supposed to let people know what was going on in your house, which meant you hid a lot of things, and the things that you hide, they only gather more momentum. They start to fester, and then eventually you're popping off. You're shooting people who didn't do it. Like the punishment doesn't fit the crime. And
Mm,
so with Triggered, we wanted to acknowledge the fact that so many people are triggered. They have these triggers that they are either ignoring or not properly managing or honoring. And so we said, well, let's just say that everyone is not everyone, many people, because I don't want to generalize, many people are triggered and they're triggered AF. So if we name what we're going to be dealing with, then nobody can hide. We bring everybody out into the light.
I love that. I love that because as I think it's Iyanla that first started saying, "Just call a thing a thing." Just
Mm-hmm.
call a thing a thing. And I am a big fan of that. So I'm glad. I love the name of the podcast. I love the idea behind it. And I just love how you all, both of you, you and Danny, approach your conversations, whether it's the two of you or it's you with a guest, or I'm a big fan, as you can tell. I'm here fangirling folks.
Listen,
So
I'm a fan of yours as well, especially starting with giving people the opportunity to breathe. Like when we started the conversation, because my day has been so hectic already, I like
Mhm.
got back at like 4:30 a.m. I've had meetings since 8 a.m. this morning.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so just getting a chance to breathe, I was like, oh my God, I needed that. I needed a chance to exhale. So thank you for providing a
Oh,
safe
you're
space
welcome.
where I could let my eyebrows down. I didn't realize, like, yo, they're all the way in your forehead. Bring them
They
down.
are. Listen, we listen. They're always looking for our edges. They're
Yeah,
always up there,
you're
right?
taking your edges out, sis.
They're
Bring
taking
them
your
down.
edges out. Yes, bring them
Bring
down.
them down. Bring them down.
Yeah, it's actually little places like that. Like most of us know about, okay, you hold tension in your shoulders or maybe
Mhm.
even in your jaw, but we don't think, okay, are my eyebrows and eyelids tense right now? Because
Yeah.
it's those little micro muscles that really hold a lot of stress, and we're not even aware a lot of the time.
Yeah, that can be our alternative for Botox. We could just bring our eyebrows
Listen,
down.
bring your eyebrows down, then you don't need it. Exactly. So okay, so the premise for Triggered AF is, like you said, just calling a thing, naming it, and it's almost like, I don't want to necessarily say befriending your triggers, but you definitely believe that triggers are not enemies. They're there to inform, instruct. They're like invitations to heal,
Yeah,
right?
it
And
really is an
so, yeah,
invitation. Yeah.
it is. It is absolutely an invitation, right? Because it's not everything that comes up is not meant to us for us to run away from, right?
Yes, yes. And we're now in a culture where nobody wants to feel discomfort. Oh my God, if you make me uncomfortable, you are toxic. And it's like, no, sometimes you need to sit in the uncomfortable place because comfort zones are beautiful places, but nothing ever grows there. And if growth is something that you are looking for, then you are going to need to rest in the fact that uncomfortability is an invitation for you to discover more about who you are, about what is working, about what is not working, about what type of experience would you like to have. Does it align with what you're currently experiencing? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then okay, now that invitation becomes now a pathway for you to then create what you do want versus what you don't.
Love that. So can you share with us, if you don't mind, can you share with us a time when you were triggered, when a trigger sort of like became a turning point for you, when you, because I know that you practice what you preach. You can't do what you do without embodying it in some way. So I know that you practice what you preach. So what was a time when, you know, you experienced a trigger and used that as a catalyst for healing?
Absolutely. So for me, right, we all have something that trips us up. I don't care how perfect you may present outline, or outside or online. We all have a trigger, right? And so for me, the most prevalent one, honestly, was around my self-worth. Anytime I would date or be in a position to where someone had to choose me, that would be a major trigger for me, where I would feel it in my gut. I would feel unworthy, like, well, I'm not good enough. I can't, I won't, I. And so for me, anytime it's a situation where someone gets to make a choice between me and something else, it would cause such angst and anxiety that it would sometimes be crippling. And so what I finally came to the understanding of is A, do I choose me? Number one. And B, everything is not for you. If you're eating off of everyone's plate, you don't know where the poison comes from. So be completely okay with honoring the fact that, yes, I may want this, but this might not be for me. I might not be able to handle the responsibility that comes with that. And it just might not be mine. And if it is not mine, it is okay that it belongs and goes to someone else. And I can't be so in my ego or in my selfish, which there's nothing wrong with being, self-full.
Not at all. Self-full, exactly.
Self-full is nothing wrong with being self-full. I can't be so focused on what I want that I don't recognize that this might not be for me, and that is okay, because end of the day, the worth of a diamond is still the worth of that diamond, whether or not it is recognized by someone outside of it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. You bringing that up may or may not have brought up some triggers for me, because I definitely remember feeling that way. Like, I don't know, like someone I dated in college, maybe a couple other people, definitely somebody I dated when I was in college. And I was always like, well, why am I second, third, fourth, fifth down the list?
Yep.
Am I not worthy and amazing?
Right. That happens when you don't choose you, right?
Yes.
Because if
you're looking outside.
You're looking outside, and I get it. So many people want validation. There's nothing wrong with wanting it. However, I want the validation to come from within, because when you move with that type of energy throughout the world, you tend to attract what actually aligns versus just what you feel you want because you are in a place of anxiousness or anxiety, or, oh, I just got to have it, or, oh, I need it. And it's like, but does it actually align with what you say you want? I have a 15-year-old, and I'm teaching her to date. A lot of times, especially in communities of color, we don't teach our girls how to date. We just expect them to have husbands by the time they're 25 and babies by the time they're 26 and have careers that are masterful.
We tell them between depending, like 10 to 17, you're too fast, you're too fast, you're too fast, you're too fast, you're too fast. And then after that, okay, now hurry up. Like you said, find a husband, get your 2.5 kids, get your degree, do all of that. I'm perfect at it.
Exactly. But so my daughter's 15, and I'm teaching her how to date. And a lot of people are thinking like, well, what does that have to do with transforming trauma to triumph? It has everything to do with it, because whether you agree or not, we are communal beings. We desire to be in connection and in community. So I'm teaching her early to make choices that align with the type of life and lifestyle you desire. What does support look like for you? What does it look like for you to give it and receive it? What type of experience do you want to have? If we can start to make decisions that are anchored in what do I want my experience to be, not what timeline am I on,
Ooh,
not what achievement do
yes.
I have to have, not what award do I need to get, but what type of experience do I want to have? Because that feelings piece, the piece that people like to ignore, that's the piece that will determine your levels of anxiety, your levels of stress, what you go after, what you attune and focus on, the feelings piece. So for me, it's always what do I want this experience to be? And will these actions, choices, and decisions deliver that to me? If not, okay, now it again is an invitation for me to do something different and to not be afraid of sitting in the uncomfortable space of having to do something different.
Right. Wow, girl, you're dropping so many gems. I like I can't even keep up. That I mean, it's everything that you're saying, I absolutely like it. It resonates 100%. Feelings, a lot of us are taught, especially Black women, to run from feelings,
Mm-hmm.
to get caught up in a performance of womanhood
Yeah.
based on expectations. And what you said about yourself and your daughter just now, and maybe people don't understand the relation between that and healing from trauma, but I see what you're doing as beginning to heal generational trauma.
Yes.
Because a lot of us, you and I are two slightly different generations, but close enough that we were probably raised pretty similarly,
Uh-huh.
right? And so, a lot of my upbringing, my mom is right there listening. A lot. So, and we've talked about this before. A lot of my upbringing, I'm 100% happy with. It was great. It was wonderful. But no matter what you're going to come up with, your parents can only do and deliver what they know.
Absolutely. And
That
it's not
it's
their
not a
fault always.
judgment, right?
Yes.
It's not a judgment. It is not a criticism. It just
Hmm.
is what it is.
Yeah.
And so you're taking the time to deliberately think, okay, my teenager, she's 15, she is going to start dating. She
Yes.
can either start dating with support or without support. She can start dating with knowledge or without knowledge.
Hmm.
She can
I choose
start dating,
knowledge.
right, knowing that she can come to me, you as her parent,
Hmm.
or knowing that you are not a safe space, that you have chosen to be a safe space for her. So that already is laying the groundwork for healing generational trauma. So I applaud you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for us, for many of us, and I can only speak from my experience. I won't pretend to speak from anyone else's. But there's so much that we were not taught, especially around the honoring your feelings and being able to process them. For me, when I was growing up, if you get mad, you be mad silently. You what you mean? You expressing the fact that you're upset? Absolutely not. That will get your head caved in.
Listen, there
However,
might be a hand, there might be a slipper, depending on what family you grew
a
up in. There
shoe.
might be a belt, a
Yes,
shoe. Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
Exactly.
But
There
for
might be
me, I
something.
feel there's value in actually acknowledging how do I feel and where do I feel it. So when I'm upset, I will actually say to myself, I feel extremely angry and I'm hot. I'm so hot that I'm starting to sweat because I'm so angry. Naming it and identifying it helps you to process and work through it. I come from a very violent background. There was a lot of abuse when I was growing up, from being slapped in front of an auditorium full of the kids in my school, to being jumped on by one of the co-founders of my school, to being fought by one of the teachers. Just a lot of violence, from my mom. And I love her. She's literally a member, the head member of my tribe. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, my mother was very, very violent with me. So violence was kind of all I knew growing up. Her friend, there's just lots of violence.
Yes,
So for
yes.
me, saying things and honoring what my feelings were could get me beat or in trouble or hit or just a negative experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So teaching women, honestly, and men, especially men, now how to honor, hey, what are you feeling? And then where are you feeling it? Because if you can identify what you're feeling in each of your experiences, then it allows you to walk through it. Okay, I'm feeling anger, or maybe it's not really anger, I'm feeling sadness, or I'm feeling betrayal, or I feel trapped. Okay, cool. Why do you feel that way? Well, I feel that way because I feel as though I have no way to get out of this particular predicament. That is how you literally start to identify, this is a trigger. This trigger has been caused by this trauma, the why. And
Mhm.
now what does it look like? Because I don't like this feeling. This feeling isn't good. And I understand how ignoring them can take you out, because I was planning my suicide in
Mm.
2012. I was planning it because I was unwilling to honor and acknowledge my feelings. So my friends will laugh at me. So I was like, "You're always talking about feelings." Yes, because your
Yes.
feelings can literally cause you to take you or someone else out,
Mhm.
simply because you ignore what is knocking lightly at your door at first. And then it's going to get a little louder, and then a little louder, and then it's going to bulldoze your world because you ignore it. So what
Yes.
happens if we simply just honor the fact that, yo, I'm a little sad because I wasn't chosen, or I'm a little sad because I didn't get the opportunity, or I'm a little sad because I made a choice that went against what I knew I wanted, and I participated in my own self betrayal. And I don't like the way that feels. Honor
But
your
you know
feelings.
that listen, I first of all check agree with all of that. And that is hard work. It is hard work, especially for those of us who are taught that our value lies in our strength, or appearance of strength, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if are you actually being strong? Like, this is what you're saying. Are you being strong, or are you just hiding it? Right? Are
Exactly.
you just hiding your genuine feelings? Are you hiding what you feel? Are you hiding what you think? Are you lying to yourself, basically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
literally.
yeah. So, like, how did you unlearn? Because a lot of us go through life performing
Mm-hmm.
strength and performing capacity,
Yeah.
performing capability, performing being nonchalant, a lot of that. I
Yeah.
don't care. I don't
Yeah.
bother me. There's a lot of that. It's like, you're saying I don't care a lot for for
Somebody who really cares a lot.
somebody who really cares a lot, right? So how do we unlearn performing our way through life?
Ooh.
In our, like, and what does it look like in your, let's say, how does that feel in your body? Like, you identify a feeling, identify your a trigger, and then you're like, oh, I can choose to stop performing otherwise. What does that feel like in your body? What does it feel like or look like when you're working maybe with someone else,
Yeah.
coaching them? Yeah.
So whenever I'm coaching folks, especially folks who are used to performing, I
Mhm.
always ask them to pause. Like,
Mm.
performers usually don't pause. Immediately you ask me something and I'm ready to do the thing to
Because
show
the
you.
show must go on. The show
Yes,
must go on. Yes.
yes, because
Yeah.
you are a performer.
Hmm.
You have taken on this role, and this is who you are, and this is how you show up. You don't even check in with yourself real quick to be like, do I actually want this? Is this something that I actually am
Hmm.
committed to doing? I was coaching an executive last week, and she was saying that she had agreed to do something that she actually didn't want to do. And so I asked her, I was like, we had discussed practicing the pause. Did you pause? And
Hmm.
she was like, they asked me, and I just immediately said yes. And I'm like, but you didn't want to do that. So why would you say yes? And then now you're angry and upset at them when they did not do it. You did it.
Yes.
This
To
one's
yourself.
on you. And
Yes.
so, what I tell, especially when I'm coaching folks, I always tell them to practice the pause. And the pause is, again, sitting in that uncomfortable place, because when someone asks you something, you immediately feel you have to respond. Like, oh my God, they asked me. I got to respond now.
Listen. I know my friend Latrice is on this call. Hey, Latrice, and she has had that. She and I have had that conversation many a time, because
Mhm.
I know this about myself. Somebody will ask me something, and before the sentence is out of their mouth, I'm like, oh my gosh, absolutely,
Yes.
right.
That's,
And
you're
then,
ready. You're excited to perform whatever it is for them. And it doesn't make you a bad person.
no,
All you're just
it
excited
might make
to,
you stressed. It might
it
make you a
don't
stressed
stress
person.
you. Okay? Because you're gonna be like an octopus trying to figure it out. And you only have two arms, not eight. But
Yes.
what I tell folks, I coach, and we do so in our Just Thrive Now community, is what you want to do is you want to practice the pause. And if you are uncomfortable in the silence of a 7 to 10 second pause, it's immediately when someone asks you, to do something, to be somewhere, to show up, to whatever it is, let me check in with my schedule. I'm unsure. Let me check.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. You didn't say yes. You didn't say no. You said you wanted to check. The schedule that you're checking, whether it is your actual schedule or your internal thermometer, you need to find out, is this something I actually want to do? That is the first step to getting a performer to stop performing, is to, once you ask them to give me a moment, let me check in. Once you have actually asked and given yourself that 7 to 10 second space, you can find out, hey, do I have capacity for this? Yeah, I may want to do it, but do I have the capacity? That's number one. Number two, do I have, yes, capacity emotionally, but now capacity time wise? Because
Mm-hmm.
those are different things. I may have the emotional capacity, but I don't have the physical time capacity. I wish I could, but I cannot. I am in one place. You need me to be in another, and it is not possible for me to be in both places at once.
Mm-hmm.
And then that pause does save lives. And then that last piece is this something I want to do? This ain't about them. This is about you. We get to honor ourselves. And that is the piece that most performers do not do. You don't honor yourself, and then you're mad, pissed, irritated, frustrated, and overwhelmed. But you are a co-conspirator in your own frustration. You are a co-conspirator.
Yes, absolutely. You are co-creating the anxiety, the stress. Not in all cases, but in many cases, you are co-creating it. We
Yes,
we all are. We all are. Because let me not say you, because
it's me too.
it's me too. It's me
Me
too.
too. I
I
have to
know I
remind
have done
myself.
it. I
Yeah.
have probably done it. And listen, I've probably done it this week, right? To be honest.
And it's only Tuesday.
It's only Tuesday. It is only Tuesday. I love what you mentioned about the internal thermometer, because you call it internal thermometer, which I love. Um, Vibes, intuition, whatever
Mhm.
you want to call it. It's all of those things. But that inner knowing, that internal thermometer, that will
Mhm.
save you every time. As soon as you get that, I don't know what how to verbalize that in a word, but that feeling,
It's a strain. It's a pull.
it's a strain.
It's that pull where it's like, huh.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's very subtle, which is why you have to learn to listen to yourself, which is
Listen
something
on
too
the
that
whisper, on the whisper,
it
not
is a
on the shout.
whisper. Yes, it is a whisper sometimes where it's a I don't think I want to do that. So
Mhm.
with the executive last week, when I was telling them, okay, that's okay, you didn't practice the pause. Now you have to go back and you have to say, hey, I was so excited to do X, Y, and Z for you. I really was. However, I have noticed I have a conflict. You did not state what that conflict was,
Mhm.
okay?
Conflict
Whether
might be in your spirit, but
internal or external,
internal or external,
it is
exactly.
a conflict. I have a conflict, and I want to be sure that I show up as my absolute best self. So at this time, I am unable to, but please give me the opportunity to do so at another date. But at this time, I am unable to. If you have capacity, you can find an alternative for them. If you do not have capacity, it is okay if people get upset with you. I know that is something that performers and people who like to people please do not like to have. Having somebody upset with you is like a death. It can feel like a death. And also, people are actually dying from being overextended because their hearts give out. They are not taking care of themselves in the same way. So, would you rather be completely whole and healthy, showing up in a good way for whomever that person is, versus practicing self betrayal and being a co conspirator in your own demise just to make someone else happy? Again, what is the experience that you want? If you don't mind the latter, then keep doing what you're doing. I'm not into telling people what to do if it's working for them.
Mhm.
However, if it is not
However,
working
head
for
tilt,
you,
head tilt, right?
I like, and I do the same thing with my daughter. I invite her to make decisions with me. This is not, which is, I mean, polar opposite from my upbringing. And my mother sometimes laughs at me. She's like, how did you become this type of a parent? I was like, girl, love you, but the way you raised us, absolutely never. um, but
I'm happy though that you and your mom can have those conversations, and it
yeah,
sounds like you have. like you're in a good place.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We
I
had
love that.
we had the uncomfortable conversation.
Mhm.
I told her,
Mhm.
hey, the way you handled me, the way you treated me, the beatings and the violence was not okay. I'm like, you made me feel as though I love was someone hitting me. That is what you taught me with how I was raised. You taught me and you made me feel as though I was not good enough for someone to treat kindly or to consider. I was like, those things is what was embedded in me with the actions. And then I told her, but the reason I am not angry with you because that is what you were taught.
Right.
You didn't have therapy. You didn't have a coach. You didn't have someone to talk through your feelings and emotions and to explore those. So I am not angry with you, but I do still need to express all of the things I have had to overcome because
Mhm.
of my childhood. And although I love you, I wish for you healing so that you don't have to keep living and dealing with what I know I was living and dealing with growing up under that type of an experience. And I know yours was worse.
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
had it was an intense conversation. I was still
Right.
very respectful,
Mhm.
but it was still an honoring for me. No, my mother is not Nigerian, shockingly enough. You would think that she's just black country American.
Listen, or West Indian, maybe
Listen,
or from the Caribbean. Listen, we all have, to varying
yeah,
degrees, we all have similar moms.
yes,
It's cultural. Some of it is cultural.
listen,
It's
they've had some things, they've had some challenges.
Mhm.
But having that conversation with her, it opened up the door for us to have peace. I have no ill feelings towards my mom. She did the best she could with what she had and the information she had at the time. I have more information, so I do more with it. And I'm sure my daughter may have to have some therapy from the things that I put her through too. And I am okay with her having that conversation with me around the things that did not work for her, with how I parented her. And then I will invite her to, hey, I want you to do it different with your child too, then, if you decide that that's what you want, because there's no pressure on this side.
Oh, I love all of that. So thank you, and thanks for sharing the truth and your truth,
Yeah.
because part of us being used to healing in silence and not hanging our dirt what hanging out our dirty laundry, I think that's the phrase, right?
Yes.
But that creates, it just allows for certain harmful habits to perpetuate. And
Mm-hmm.
so just by you sharing your story and your truth today, you have opened a door for more people to start having their these conversations with, maybe with their parents, or whoever raised them, maybe explore parenting their children a bit differently. All of those just little windows of light that have been opened by this conversation. So thank you very much for that.
And
So
to
listen.
Elizabeth, real quick too, to Elizabeth, she was saying journaling. Sometimes you can't have the conversation that I had with my mom. Some parents are completely unwilling, and you have to be okay with that too, because it's not about them. This is about you. So if you know you cannot have the conversation with them, what I always tell my clients to do is I want you to write a 4-page letter, seal it with a kiss if you must. But write
A 4-page letter.
and I closed it with a kiss. But
Right.
no. So if you cannot have that conversation, right? Because everyone, that is a privilege, right? Everyone cannot, whether they're here, not here, whatever the reason is, write a letter expressing your feelings because you have to get them out. Even when I'm upset with people that I'm dating, I don't immediately go to them. I will write in my notes app how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling what I'm feeling, and then decide, is this a conversation that needs to also be had with them?
Right.
If you cannot have that conversation with them, the point and purpose is to get it out of your body. All that frustration, stress, anger, angst, anxiety, you got to get it out of your body. And if actually having the conversation isn't something you can do, write it down, express yourself completely and fully, what your truth was, because sometimes too our truth is not the truth, and that's okay too. Write it down, what your experience was, what you felt, how it has expressed itself in your current life's experience. Write it all down, and if you can give it to them, mail it. If you cannot, after you've written down, and this is going to sound really, really interesting, and I still want you to go with me. I want you to take it and I want you to just dance. Turn on some music that
Mm.
excites you. And I want you to dance because now you need to get that out of your
Get that
body.
out of out of your
Get
body,
it
the movement.
out.
That's like a somatic approach. Like people don't
Yeah.
realize. I firmly believe I know there's no study on this, but I believe one of the reasons why quote unquote many black people embrace dance so fully is because a lot of us have been through a lot, and there's a knowing, an
Yes.
ancestral knowing that dance and movement will get
Get it
that
out.
stuff out of your system.
Yes. And
Absolutely.
you don't even have to be on beat, okay? You don't
Yeah.
have to be on beat. Nobody has to see you dancing after this because I have had such a heavy start to my week. I am going to go and dance it out. I have not
Mhm.
said this publicly or shared this publicly, but my father is in a home for memory care because
Mhm.
he has early onset Alzheimer's. This is I don't need a sympathy for this, but there's so many things that I experienced with my father that I will never now have an opportunity to have that discussion with him. And
Right.
towards the I guess the evolution of his disease, he started to get more violent and I don't deal
Mhm.
well with violence anymore.
Right. Right.
And there were a number of things that happened to me in my childhood with my father that I just were just really, really hurtful. I
Mhm.
can't have that conversation with him now. So I did the same thing that I'm telling you guys to do, and I'm going to do it later. I will dance it out and write out all the things that I wish he had done, how I wish he had showed up. He did the best he could with what he had. And sometimes someone's level best is not enough. That's for me. That's for you. That's for your parents too. Sometimes the best is not enough. And when it is not enough, you have to honor the fact that this is my humanity shining through, and I'm going to have to be okay that sometimes it is not good.
Yeah. And sometimes the closure is not coming.
Nope.
Sometimes like you said, the conversation is not going to happen.
Mhm.
But life goes on. You can still be happy despite that.
Yes.
You
You
can
can be
still be
happy
happy.
because of it. And I think
Even
that people
exactly.
you
Yes.
can be happy because of it. I am the person that there you go, midnight ballerina. I am the human that I am today because of my experiences. I am able to process feelings, emotions, have empathy for some really heavy things that people experience because I experienced so much, not in spite of, but because of. I would not be able to be as empathetic if I had not grown up in a childhood where there was so much abuse. I
Right.
would not understand how to nurture a child who has ADHD and who can be challenging for
Mhm.
older school adults if I had not grown up in a place where I talked a little too much and it got me got me beat a
Listen,
lot.
they got you smacked. They got you. Listen,
Listen,
you got one of those little pops, right?
yes,
Or worse. Yes.
yes, but I understand how to nurture vibrant children and strong personalities because I had one. So I need us to stop always thinking of in spite of how I was treated and done.
Mhm.
You see
Mhm.
how that energy, the moment I said in spite of how the neck got to rolling,
Yeah. Yeah.
instead,
I
I
appreciate that reframe. I really appreciate that. Thank
yes,
you.
I
Yes.
invite you to say, because of my experiences with X, Y, and Z, I now choose this because I prefer this experience over that one. Because of my experience growing up in a very violent childhood, I used to choose violent men like children choose candy. I thought love meant someone hitting me because that's really like, yo, they really care now.
Mhm.
Instead, because of my experiences, I now choose partners who are soft and who are kind with me, who handle me in a way that makes me feel safe
Mhm.
because of, not in spite of. It's just it empowers you in a different way.
I absolutely love that. That is such an important reframe, and I am going to be using that from now on. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Of course.
Something that I have found, I would like to know what your experience is, but I have definitely found that certain parts of one's healing journey can be lonely. They can be, right?
Ooh, yeah.
They can be, but I don't think that they have to be. So, how do we call in community and maybe, remove or release some of that loneliness
Yeah.
without making anybody else responsible for healing. How do
Mhm.
we, kind of like get rid of that loneliness, transmute it, transform it, move through it, and call in community?
Yeah, I always say, and this is where the country part of me is gonna come out, y'all. So forgive me in advance. But there's a butter for every bread. What that means,
I love it.
what that means is there is someone who likes what you like, who is healing the way you would like to heal, who is on a journey with you too. If you go on Facebook, and whether or not you're on Facebook is irrelevant, but if you go on Facebook, there is a community for people who play the bazooka. I truly, honestly don't even know what a bazooka looks like, but I think it makes that type of sound.
I think it is. It's like a harmonica.
Okay,
It's like if a harmonica and bagpipes had a baby.
there we go.
Yes.
There is a community for whatever it is you are looking for. There is a butter for every bread. Once you make a decision that this is what I'm looking for, you can go on your handy dandy encyclopedia, aka phone, because it is like a handheld encyclopedia. You can go on your laptop, on your computer. You can use Chat GPT, Google,
Mhm.
Bing, whatever your choice is, and you can type in communities for whatever it is. Communities for moms with children with special needs, communities for women of color who have experienced abandonment, whatever that is, there 9 times out of 10 is a community for it. And if there is, go and explore that. I'm not saying you have to join and become a card toting member of it. Go and explore it to see, does this align with who I am? Because the reason our anxiety rates, suicide rates, depression, and so much, the reason it is at such an increased rate now is because so many of us are alone and lonely, and nobody teaches adults how to make friends for real, for real. But if you seek out and start to search for community, then you will find it. And guess what? If you don't find it, guess what you can do? Just guess. Anybody.
Anybody. I think you might be able to. Let's see if somebody puts it in the comments. Not yet, not yet.
Not
But
yet. Not yet. It's not there
not yet.
yet. But
Okay,
we're
who's
gonna give you it. We're gonna give it to you. You can create it.
you can create it.
You
Build
can
your
create it.
own.
You can
Build your
create it.
own.
And then invite people to come with you, and then make sure that I tell people all the time, baby, I am not perfect. I do so many things wrong. Even with parenting my daughter, as intentional as I am with parenting her, there are still going to be things that I get wrong because she thinks I'm a little too tough. And I tell her all the time, you're right. I am extremely tough because of what I have experienced. And I don't want you to have to experience those things, which is why I want you to be intentional about who you bring into your universe, who you partner with to have children, who you decide to be friends with, because all of that will create what your experience looks and feels like. Because I don't want you to have to be as tough as I am. Because I
Mhm.
have had to be because of my experience. And no matter how many healing modalities I do, baby, that roughness ain't going nowhere. It's going,
It's
it's
there. It's there. It's
there,
embedded. It's
it's there to
embedded, and
stay.
that's okay. That's okay.
Yes,
So
it's there to
speaking
stay.
speaking of building and creating communities, now both you and I have done this,
Mhm.
and something that I do every episode is I read an excerpt from Space to Exhale, and
Yes.
so I'm gonna do that now. And this excerpt is kind of a meld. Is about a meld of what we've been talking about. Yes, it does mention rest because Space Exhale is all, you've read it, so you know what it's about.
Yeah.
But it also talks about resting in community and healing in community. And so
Mm.
I think that it relates to what we're talking about. You and I have both built communities. We're like, like you said, we're not seeing what we want. So
Yeah.
we're gonna build it. And
Mhm.
then we build it and decide, okay, how is it going to look? What would I want?
Mhm.
And also asking people, what do you want? What would you
Yeah.
like? What would you like to experience?
Yeah.
And so enjoy this little excerpt, and then we'll come back into the conversation and talk about it some more.
Yes.
Okay, so um, this is from chapter 6, curate your capacity, rest. So let me begin. Open scene. A soft life is a rested life. Curating a gentler life includes making rest a priority. Ideally, we want to avoid experiencing burnout at all by proactively putting measures in place to prevent it. We need to identify the root causes of why we're so tired and then build habits and life systems to address them. It's a good idea to start by visiting your doctor to have them assess whether there are any medical issues at play. When we think of rest, physical repose is usually what comes to mind: sleeping, napping, lying down for a moment or two, putting our head down on a pillow, our feet up on a footstool, placing a cushion at our backs for maximum comfort. That's a part of it, but there's more. In my research, I came across the work of Sandra Dalton Smith, MD, author of Sacred Rest. If you've ever heard about the various kinds of rest that humans need, it is thanks to Dr. Dalton Smith, who developed the 7 types of rest framework to help people minimize burnout. In addition to the 7 recommended by Dr. Dalton Smith: physical, mental, emotional, sensory, creative, social, and spiritual, I propose 2 more: cellular and communal. So there are 9 kinds of rest. And yes, we need them all. So let's delve into communal rest. Since I'm a community builder, it probably comes as no surprise that I believe communal rest to be a valid and necessary form of relaxation. Like navigating life, resting can be more powerful when supported by one's village. There is something deeply healing about resting as a collective. We need to encourage each other to prioritize rest. It's co-regulation at scale, and it's a beautiful thing. It's also imperative that we make it safe to rest and remove the shame so many of us feel about embracing a slower pace. We need to give each other permission to relax. The best way to do that is to normalize resting as a society. One of our collective goals must be to create communal spaces and shared experiences that are centered around rest. A great example of this is the collective napping experience hosted by Trisha Hurley that allows people to rest, dream, and heal in shared space. In the Great Exhale community, we share tips on relaxation, meditation, and sleep. We also consistently encourage our community members to rest. One of the best testimonials I ever received about the community was from a member who said she felt free and comfortable to relax and do nothing. The world demands so much of us. Sis was happy to be able to chill. Doing less and resting more is the goal. A word to the wise: don't fall into the trap that so many high achieving people do and make resting into its own exhausting project. Yes, I'm looking at you, sis. Put away that recovery spreadsheet you just created. Delete that project plan. Step away from that bulleted checklist. We can't black excellence our way through our resting time. We can't black girl magic our way through our healing. We can't I'm a strong black woman our way to the other side of burnout. There are no gold stars being distributed. So relax, breathe. It's okay to take it slow. The goal is to make our rest something that actually restores us and gradually curate a life we don't need to constantly recover from. Don't burn out trying to heal from burnout. And so, yes, that's what I wanted to share with you all today. Alechia, do you have any thoughts? I know there's something that you have either posted or said about, maybe it's even in your bio, about curating a life that we don't really need to take a break from. And it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I love to travel. Travel is my only vice. I don't drink. I
I love
don't
it.
smoke. I don't like to party. I don't have a shopping addiction anymore. My only vice is travel. Right. I will run up a tab on an airplane. However, what I realized at one point is that I was using travel as a form of escape. Um, be,
Interesting.
because it allowed me not to think or to deal with whatever I was experiencing at that moment, right? But the
Tell me
thing,
more. Tell me more. This is interesting.
The thing is, no matter where you go, there you are. So what I'm going to invite every person who is on here to do is I want you, and it's free. It's called the Thrive Audit. If you go to justThriveNow.com, it's literally a downloadable, fillable workbook. So you don't even have to do too much. You just download it, okay? And you write in it in 6 areas of your life. It allows you to identify what you're experiencing and what you actually want to experience, because therein shows you where the gap is. Once you're clear on where the gap is, you can then work to bridge the gap by being intentional. I realized that I think I was in Iceland and I was falling asleep in the Blue Lagoon. It's this really great place in Iceland. I was falling asleep in the Blue Lagoon, and there was this deep sadness that came over me. And I was like, no, wait, I'm on vacation. I'm not supposed to feel this way. And what I realized is I had been running from an experience that I would not honor and acknowledge. And what you ignore, it's going to knock lightly at first, and then it's going to bulldoze its way.
It's going to throw hands. It is absolutely going to throw hands.
It's going to start throwing hands. And what I realized then is I will not be able to vacation my way through the feelings that I am trying to ignore, because I cannot hide from myself. So what I will invite every single person to do is to take that Thrive Audit so that you can get super clear on where your gaps are. And then you get to decide, because this is about you and your experience. This is about how your life feels for you. It's not about anybody else. And then you get to decide where and what places in my life do I need to do some work? Because some places you may not want to change. Like, I personally like my toughness. I'm not trying to change that. It has been helpful for me. I'm not changing that. However, there were other aspects of my life that I said, there's a major gap here. What does it look like to work on this piece? I'm not trying to work on all 6 at once, because you just told us, don't burn yourself out trying to overcome burnout.
Yes, because that's what we do. Because getting back to, all of this ties together, because it gets back to us performing our way through life, us having to be feeling like we have to be excellent, even in our private moments that are not viewed by public, supposedly, right? But somehow there's always a stage, there's always an audience, an imaginary one, and we're so often performing and thinking, okay, well, I have to, I want to get 10 out of 10 for my burnout, right? And
you want to check off all the boxes. I have ADHD, so I have to make lists. And I like to check the boxes. Oh my God, it is like a major dopamine hit when I get to just scratch through or check that I did something. So I too used to be like, okay, so I overcome burnout by doing these 10 steps and doing this and doing this, and I got to do this. And I'm so tired by the time I get to step number 5. Oh my God, I'm burnt out now. What I was trying to avoid, I've now achieved.
Exactly. And I tell people, listen, when I wrote Space to Exhale, none of it beyond the scholarship and, like I referred to Dr. Dalton, right? For example, right? Beyond scholarship of that nature and citing experts and so on, all of it is my experience, right? And so why I say don't burn yourself out trying to heal from burnout is because guess what? ADHD, type A, overachiever, literally used to be a performer, right? Right?
Me too.
Dance and drama and all that different stuff. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. And also about community and the need to rest in community, because we've made this society so individualistic that it's almost like rest becomes our burden. But now you have a 9 to 5 and you have your responsibilities and all this sort of stuff. And you have to carve everything out, and it just becomes traumatic trying to, like you said, find community, get some rest or whatever. But it does not have to be that way. It does not. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
The invitation to figure out where am I not thriving? Where would I like to thrive, and focus on one? You can know that there are 6,
Mm-hmm.
Focus only on one. And I told a young lady who had commented earlier, she was saying she just relocated and she's looking for community. Start first with building a community that feeds your spirit. The
Yeah.
work will come. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
You will always have more work to do. Focus
Right.
on first building community that feeds your spirit, because if you gird your spirit, if you provide a really strong foundation for the spirit part of you, which is the piece that most of us ignore, just like the feelings, if you ensure that you take care of that piece, and I'm not talking about spirit as in religion or church, that's literally not at all what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
If that's what you prefer, amen, more power to you. I'm saying the thing that feeds you and nourishes you.
Yeah.
Create or look for that type of a community, invest and nurture that type of a community first, because the professional piece will come. There are 50,000, probably a million different professional communities. You want to make sure you connect, or at least do your best to connect first with the ones that will support the spiritual piece and the spirit part of you, so that you can literally craft an experience that's better, because we all know how to work.
Yes.
We got that part.
Amen. Amen. And nobody ever, shall we say, got close to departing this earth and thought, you know what? I wish I had done more work.
Not
Not
one
one
person.
solitary person. Never, never, literally never happened. So I know we're getting close to time, but I want to make sure you might have to come back, because I know we barely scratched the surface. We'll chat, but I do want people to know about the communities that you have founded. Just Thrive Now and Got Value Nation. I hope I got those right. If I didn't, correct me, and then tell the people all about all the things that you're doing, about your communities, where they can find you. I want to make sure everybody has that information.
Yes, yes, yes. You can go to justThriveNow.com. That is justThriveNow.com. The Thrive audit is on there. We also have a community. We decided to have just one community that we're focusing on each week. And it is a new community that we have just brought everything over. So you'll see everything in there. We have a discovery mapping process in there too, that helps you to figure out of all these skills and things that I do, and all the problems that I solve with these skills and things, how does it make me feel?
Mm.
That piece for me, I'm really,
Feelings.
really big on. I am the feelings girl. I'm a feelings girly. I really want us to honor and acknowledge our feelings, so that we can, again, create lives that feel as good as they look. We're going to win the awards. We're going to do the work. We're going to win the things. But now I want you to actually feel good on the inside about them. Yes, celebrate the promotion, celebrate the award, honor the achievement, and also make sure that you feel good too. So everywhere, always, Just Thrive Now. And then, of course, triggeredafpodcast.com. You can go there and listen to a lot of our episodes. We have an amazing episode coming out today, actually, that speaks to self-love
I love
and
that.
hair. So it's a really, really good conversation. But I want to thank you so much for creating this space, Lisa. This is literally exactly what I needed. So I am so grateful for you creating this space. Thank you for having me. Thank y'all for joining us in this conversation and adding such valuable comments and notes and feedback. We truly are thankful. Yes, feelings are royal. Yes, they are.
Yes, they absolutely are. We gotta put that up there. Feelings are royal, for sure, for sure. One last question before we wrap it up.
Yes.
So the show, as you know, is called Space to Exhale. So what does it mean for you to find space to exhale in your life? Especially like, on a day like this, on in a week like this, a lot of things to do. How do you find space to exhale?
Oh my goodness. So funny enough, during the panorama, and yes, I call it a panorama instead of a pandemic, but during the panorama, I taught myself how to design nails. And so when I exhale, I literally take the time to design intricate nails. I put them on, I design them. I have videos on my Instagram of me actually
Oh,
showing
that's
people how
beautiful.
I did it. It to me, it is self-care. It took me 6 hours, 6+ hours to do, but that is time where no one can ask me to do something. They can't ask me to cook. They cannot ask me to clean. They cannot ask me to show up in any way except for one that honors me. And I do so by designing my nails. That's how I exhale. I think, I strategize. I love on myself. I take care of me. no one can ask me to do anything for them because I'm doing my nails.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So I'm going to leave us with an affirmation. So today's affirmation is I am releasing shame and self-judgment and allowing myself to heal. I'm releasing shame and self-judgment and allowing myself to heal. So just think on that, let that marinate for a while. And, Alechia and I are going to say goodbye. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And thanks for joining me on Space to Exhale, the podcast. And be sure to tune in live every Tuesday on LinkedIn to catch the vibes. And if you can't make the live show, we want you to make the live show. But if you can't, that's okay. Just subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and YouTube to catch the replay. And if you want to dive deeper into what we discussed today, be sure to get a copy of my book, Space to Exhale. Be sure to follow Alechia, connect with her on LinkedIn. It's scrolling across there. Connect with Alechia, and go to her Thrive community as well. All of that is going to be in the show notes, so you'll have all of the information. And stay in touch with me as well, right? Follow me on LinkedIn. Check out my website, spacetoexhalebook.com for updates. And with that, goodbye for now. And remember, you are worthy of rest, you are worthy of love, and you are worthy of having time and space to exhale. Bye.
Bye.